Hello, time for a video. Well, here we go. So, I posted this last week, I'm not sure when. Exactly, what we're going to do now, our new policy, our new idea. We want you to comment on our videos on aparat. Okay, so Payman has mentioned this, he's shown you how in the group. So, what we will do now, partly as a way to decide whose introductions to include, because for some of the last introductions I've had maybe, 16, 20 people, which out of a group of nearly 2,000 is not that good. However, it's good for me because otherwise it would be quite a lot of work. So what we're going to do now, we're probably just going to have 10, I think 10 introductions on me to comment on. And how we will choose them, as I said, if you comment on the introduction, then you will be included. Obviously, if the same 10 people keep commenting on the videos every time, then that won't work. So we'll probably have to try a new approach. I think possibly it'll be the first 10, because obviously we want to try and include as many people as possible. So as soon as you see the video, go to aparat and comment, and we will select your introductions accordingly. Okay, so let's have a look. Another advantages or disadvantages question, but still it's an opinion, because it's asking you, do you think there were more advantages or disadvantages? Okay, in many parts of the world the families were larger in the past. Well, hang on a sec, I'll just stop. We've got some helicopters flying by. Okay, sorry, we had a bit of noise outside, a bit of traffic and helicopters. So anyway, as I was saying, it's advantages or disadvantages, but still, in essence, it's like all the essays, it's asking you to give your opinion on something. So we'll take a look at my introduction first, and then we'll take a look at yours. So in many parts of the world, so I paraphrased it thus: in many parts of the world, okay, in earlier times around the globe, families were larger in the past. The size of the average family was larger than it is today, because people had more children as a consequence of a higher birth rate. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward in terms of paraphrasing. Don't forget what I say every time. If you can't find a synonym that's interchangeable, change the form of the word instead. Come back here. Okay. So, in my opinion, so first things first, you have to say, were there more advantages or disadvantages? And I'm saying, in my opinion, had several disadvantages. So I think this is more. This is the stronger side. The disadvantage side is stronger than the advantage side. So that's essentially what this question is asking. Did the good points of having larger families, were they more or better than the disadvantages, whatever they might be? So I'm saying, well, yes. I think being larger family, not so good, because the first being a lack of space. So if I were to finish writing this essay, and we do have some books on the website of the complete Band 9 essays, and this is actually taken from one of those books. We've got, 100 Band 9 essays, or 101 available on the bookstore. So the main idea here, a lack of space, too many people in a small house, not so good. The second, usually if you have more children, you're usually poor. So, if you're working people, if you've got larger families, obviously they've got to be paid for. So that's going to mean less money for you to spend on other things. So lack of resources. So they would be the two disadvantages, because of course, right, so more people equals less space, more people equals less money to spend on individual things. Okay, so get that off, put some changes on, let's have a look. Due to having more children, people would live. Well, shouldn't it be simple past? People lived or used to live. Now you can use would for past tense sometimes. For example, when I was a kid, we would play outdoors all day long. When I was a kid, we used to play outdoors all day long. So you can use those two. Okay. But here, when you're talking about people in the past, like back to the question, they were larger. So it's not would, is it? You know, people lived in larger families, so put that there. In most of the world's regions, well, in most of the world, well, many parts, but it's not most. Most is not many. So that's not strictly accurate. Okay, in my point of view, or in my view, we usually say from my point of view because it's from a perspective, or in my view. Closeness among family members and collaboration between them were the two main benefits of living in a larger family. So we need an article there. So that's nice and short and to the point, not too bad. Now, this one here, it's not written up like an essay, okay? It's just not. It's not the academic standard or what the examiners want, okay? I mean, it's in terms of English, it's okay, but the structure's not what they actually want. First, we should maintain a balance between our income and the number of children that we are about to have. Well, okay, if you think that you can deal with this, that you should have many children, like my opinion. So the English part's good, but that's just not what the examiners want, right? What they want is to restate the topic, answer the question, and briefly mention your two main ideas. So some of this stuff here would better suit a body paragraph because it's giving reasons and examples. But we don't want that in your introduction. We don't want reasons or, well, I mean, like you briefly mention what you're going to say, as I did, you know, or, you know, so here he'd be talking about the closeness of a larger family, collaboration. Okay, so he's just hinted here. So he has given kind of very brief hints at what his reasons for his answer might be. But this really, you know, this would actually be better as paragraph 2 or 3 rather than an introduction. In the past, in some countries, having more children, also, we don't need that to be a separate sentence. Just use a comma, make it. Can also have drawbacks such as becoming more responsible about children's education. Well, aren't you responsible for children's education regardless of your family member numbers? So I'm not quite sure what that. And this doesn't really tell me were there more, because that's what it's asking. Were there more? So it says that we do have some benefits, more support, social skills, but could also have drawbacks. So it's not bad, but you need to spell out exactly, you know, which side is the stronger, which side does have more, which has less. Because it doesn't really say. It says there's some benefits and there's some drawbacks, but it doesn't really say which has more. So move that down there. It is certainly true that nowadays, manly family families, right? Okay. Well, that's nothing to do with the topic, is it? It's not talking about now. It's talking about in the past, so that's addressing the wrong time period. Unlike the old days, there's no doubt that a person could be a member of the two sets of families. Okay, so this is essentially irrelevant. I'm not going to say anything more. You know, it's not about what's happening now. It's in the past. Let's go back to this again. In certain parts of the world, people had more kids, therefore families were larger in the past. Were there more advantages or disadvantages of large family in the past? So at that time, you know, so this really, and then there are pros and cons, yeah, but such as what? Are there more pros? Are there more cons? This doesn't really answer any kind of question, really, does it? So let's continue. Right. Because of baby booms, people had more children, but because of baby booms? Okay, because of people having more children, you mean. Families are much bigger now, which in spite of advantages led to a number of problems. Again, right, this hasn't really answered the question. It's, again, I'm going to keep on referring back. Do you think there were more? So there were some advantages, yet there were some problems. But which were stronger? What's your opinion? And what are you going to tell me? So this is a little bit short. In past times, the size of families were commonly larger. Children. Although it could bear, what is it? What does it as the pronoun refer to? Although it could bear more responsibilities, what is it? The advantages would overweigh, you mean would outweigh. Oops. Would outweigh the disadvantages. Okay. In different aspects. In different aspects, what do you mean? In various aspects. So this isn't real. It's not really telling me anything. I'm not quite sure what that phrase means. Although it could bear more. What? So although there could be more responsibility, but what does that mean? Responsibilities. Is that an advantage or disadvantage? So this is not very clear, really. I'm not really sure where this is going. This is too short. Doesn't really tell me anything. I think that's it. Yeah, it's only 6. Again, okay. This is not, off topic. It's about in the past. Not there are, it's present tense, isn't it? And it should be past tense. And you don't tell me what the pros and cons are, or which, if there were more. So, responsible for education. So it's not. I understand this first couple, this first sentence and the first half of this sentence, but I'm not quite sure what that means. It doesn't really. It's not as clear as it could be. This one's not written like an essay at all. This is more like a body paragraph. Okay, and that's not too bad. That's not so bad. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag, as always. So, okay, I'll end that now. I'll post a new topic in a bit, and I'll see you next time.